Oh my goodness. The married at first sight mess. The key word is mess. I've been listening to the reviews. I am grateful that I can't that the ability to directly watch it is not available to me. That listening to the reviews and seeing the splotches is all I have access to. Like I said, there's a verse in the Bible that says what was intended for evil actually became for my good, and I'm paraphrasing. Yes, I am paraphrasing. I'm not reading it exactly verbatim. What was intended for evil actually becomes good. And what my hope and prayer is that even though this is not the first domestic violence couple put together on this show, that it will be the last. And that there are a lot of notes taken, because this was, even though there was not physical violence, the emotional and mental battery, especially for people who have been through domestic violence before it became awareness. Whew. There is so much to unpack in that. And no, I'm not technically, I'm not a legal reviewer. I don't get paid for my views. I don't get paid by domestic violence hotline or anybody else to talk against it. But as a woman who has been there, who have seen the worst of what can happen, who is a survivor, who is an overcomer, who is coming finally into her own empowerment to move forward, these are things that are hard to watch and not say something about, you know? Um, because when you know better, you're supposed to do better. And these experts, um, you mean to tell me you couldn't see that Jekyll and Hyde personality that he had? You can't tell me that you didn't. Because even if it was just a split second that you saw, that split second is more than enough. Okay? Um, you did so wrong by the young lady. And yes, she did her own wrong too. Please, women, stop, because you keep attaching God to things that are not real, that he really and truly did not put his stamp of approval on. You make it hard and you make it bad and you give him a reputation that is so untrue. God does not put you in these situations. It's his permissive will. It's the fact that you are hard headed enough that in spite of what you see or what you hear, you still continue on to do what you want to do. Marriage was Paige's idol. God does not reside where idols reside. Read the Bible. Old Testament alone tells you that. When Baal was there and they had captured the ark and put the ark in the same room with the idol Baal, what happened? They got up the next morning and the idol was flipped upside down off of its throne deliberately by God, because God cannot reside where an idol is. And for a lot of women, young and old, marriage and babies are idols. And how do you know it's an idol? Because they want it more than life itself. Anything you want more than life itself is an idol. And what you do is you slap God on the back of it. He's not in that. For this young lady, marriage was an idol. She was willing to do whatever it took to get a husband. And then when she got it, when you look at it, when you think about it, the fact that he can say, now this man has told you in more ways than one, he don't want you. Judge Lynn Tola has said it many a times in her divorce court. Don't let a man have to tell you he don't want you. Don't hang your hat on a maybe. These are Judge Lynn Tola's words, and I appreciate her for saying the stuff that she did say in all her years in divorce court. I write some of the stuff she says down, okay? Because it's true. Marriage is an idol for her. And because it's an idol for her, don't take her seriously when she says that God wanted her to go through this. No, you're here to learn a lesson, sweetheart. And apparently this is not the first time. Like I said, there are a multitude of different things that she has done. And she has to take her own responsibility for her role in some of this. And one of the things that she did wrong was to sleep with him in the first place. Because it's been said in a couple of different reviews by men. Once you open yourself up to a man, and here's the thing, I've said this to people more than once, and these are my words now. The spirit you lay with is the spirit you get up with. So whatever spirit is strongest in that bed at that moment when the sex is performed and your two bodies are united as one, the strongest spirit that's in that bed, when you two are done and you get up, that's the spirit that resides on the throne of your life. And that's what you will have to wrestle with in your marriage, in your relationships. And I feel so bad for her, for what she has to deal with, for what she has to go through with. She will be broken when this is done. She was broken before she got in it. She will be even more broken when she gets out of it. And I'm saying this as domestic violence awareness. Take note of everything, because this is what it looks like. This is how it starts. These are the things that we as women or men, because men wind up in domestic violence situations where they're the ones that are abused too. Okay? These are the things we can't explain to you. When people say, well, how come you didn't get out? You're bonded with this person. Well, why didn't you stop doing X, Y, and Z? Because this person does this Jekyll and Hyde thing where, you know what, let me sprinkle a few little crumbs, because I know that's what she wants to hear, which is what he's doing, to keep her, to control her, to manipulate her. And that's exactly what's transpiring right before your eyes. We could not put these things into words. These are the things that people did not believe us. Well, why would they lie? Why would they do this or that? The gaslighting is evident. We couldn't explain these things 20-something years ago, 30-something years ago. We could not explain these things. And you are made to look like the craziest person, like the worst person out there. And you're the victim. You're the victim. Whoo, this thing. I listened to the reviews, and like I said, there are several different people that I listen to, so I can get an all-around perspective of what is actually happening. And each one has been consistent. The wording may have been a little different, but they've been consistent. I'm cold, excuse me. Um, the wording may have been a little different, but they've all been consistent in some aspect or degrees. There's one that's not even blatantly mentioning the violence that they actually see. They talk around it, but they don't mention that elephant that's in the room. And it's hard, especially from the community of religion. It's hard to say, for them to say, because they will pull out verses in a minute that they will twist around, you know. But please stop giving God this name. It is an idol. Marriage for her was an idol she sought after. And she got what she asked for. She got her idol. And unfortunately for her, it was not the best thing for her. You know, whether or not he will change, that's his journey. And that's something he will have to want and crave. Um, People don't like to change because they don't believe that, and for that matter, even with every villain and every villain's assistants, when they are captured, when they are put in on trial for their crimes, when they dig back into their lives, they will see two vastly different people. And that person, that their representative, is now on trial versus who they really are. And they will tell you that they don't believe that they were capable of committing the crimes that they committed, that they didn't, that it wasn't their fault, that they were provoked, or that this thing happened or that thing happened in their life that created this monster they don't believe they are. And you will hear about the Jekyll and Hyde stories about how they were this perfect person, the perfect neighborhood person, always saying hello, always ready to help their neighbor, ready to give their shirts off their back, always doing these good outwardly things. And then they close the door to their home. And there's this other person in public. The appearances are, you go out, you look like the perfect family, you go out, you look like the perfect couple, you go out, you look like the perfect this, that, and the other. There's the white picket fence and the pretty little house and everything that looks like it's supposed to look. And then they close the door, and then the cameras are shut off. Then reality switches into, from the fantasy that everybody sees, to the reality of the horror that exists. Let that simmer. Let that simmer. This is painful. The season with this couple is painful. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. There isn't that much pretending in this world that you could not foresee the possibility of what happened, because you're supposed to be able to look at not only the best that could happen, but God forbid, what is the ultimate worst that could happen? And how do we get in front of that? You know, this is not the first experiment. This is not the last experiment. There are plenty of experiments out there. But I'm putting this out here to the community that exists of survivors, victims, survivors, overcomers, and the empowered, that this is our story. This is how things started. This is where things began. And it just take out the baby mama part. Take out the ex fiance part. Take those two pieces out. What you have left is the beginning, is the way that domestic violence starts, escalates, and Lord willing, the creek don't rise, you get out alive. You get out alive. Broken, maybe even shattered, but you're alive. And it's, and you're making it. You're making it. Slowly but surely you start putting yourself together. Lord willing, the creek don't rise, and that takes counseling. And she's going to need a lot of it. She's going to, because it's not just what she's going through on this show. She's got to go back to where the root is that even got her started on the path of collecting. Because this is the same man, different face. That's all it is. It's the same man. It's the same person. It's just a different face. That's all it is, a different face. But yes, it's troubling, it's triggering, it's all of those T words. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. But those experts knew. They knew. Don't tell me they didn't know. I'm so sorry. You can't tell me they didn't know. No, it's not that they didn't know. They didn't want to believe. They didn't want to believe. And that's a large part of it too, is nobody wants to believe that this person who does everything for the community, that this person who will give you the shirt off their back, that this person who has no problems being generous and kind and all of this good stuff is really this evil person within. That they have the capability to hurt somebody to the depths of their soul, just crushing, destroying everything in sight. But yeah, no, take away God from this scenario, please. Marriage for her was an idol. It was something she wanted so bad she was willing to do anything for it, including accepting the little crumbs, you know. And you're like, well, you must be talking about yourself. No, I would look a person straight and see, mine came about because I was strong. I was quote unquote untamable. You know, all the tactics they used that had everybody else over the moon with them, I was just not fazed nor impressed. So then the frustration kicked in of, she's not fazed, she's not impressed, I thought I had her under control, and no, I am not controlled by you, you know. I thought I had her strangled financially. No, the money was diverted away from the house. Deliberately, until I could build up enough to get the heck away. But this is how people feel stuck with who they have. This is how people feel stuck with who they have. She can say, no, I don't want this marriage, but because she signed the contract, she has to continue filming. That makes a person feel stuck. Okay. That makes a person feel stuck with what they got. There are a multitude of things that makes a person feel stuck right where they're at. COVID made a whole lot of people feel stuck, even more stuck, even though they're now finally ready. The trauma bonding has relaxed its hold on them and they're ready to go. They feel stuck. There are a multitude of things that can make a person feel stuck where they're at in that relationship, in that moment in time, in that space. And even though they're quietly doing things to get unstuck, because they can't speak on it, because as soon as they say, you know what, I'm getting ready to leave him, or as soon as they say, I'm leaving you, it gets, when it's time to go, that's when the most violence happens. That's when that the child is hurt, or the animal they love is taken away, or something. Minute you say you're ready to go, minute they sense in their spirit that you're ready to book, they will do something to something that you love with the vain hope it'll make you feel stuck again, because you're like, okay, you know what, they're willing to go that far to make sure I stay here. Because the thing is, they're not done with you. When they're done with you, they will walk away from you, but they will not walk away from you until they have totally destroyed you. That's the end goal. That's the end goal. To make you feel stuck. To keep you where you're at. So no, it's been a while since I've spoken out on some things, and I feel compelled. I feel compelled because I'm watching this and I'm remembering every ounce of what transpired with me. I feel the blows. And even though it's glancing blows, it still blows, because you remember how hard you tried. And it seemed like nothing worked. It seemed like you could never get free. And not everybody gets free with life. For a lot of people, that freedom came in their death. Remember that.